So my Jasminer is overheating, and I need to fix it. It's been offline for a couple days now, and it's been giving me troubles. This is the Jasminer X16-Q. And the trouble it's been giving me is that maybe after a day of mining, the fault light would come on the front. And I would just like not even log into the dashboard and take a look and unplug it from the wall, plug it back in. I thought it perhaps was just dropping the Wi-Fi connection in the area that I had it in, and then a day later the same thing would happen. And that's been going on for a couple weeks, and I finally logged into the dashboard to take a look and noticed that it was stuck at like 99% loading the DAG for mining. And so I did a firmware upgrade, and that seemed to help, and it was fine for another day. Then right back to that fault light coming on the front, and it just stayed that way. So I finally took a look at the log, which I probably should have done in the beginning of all of this, to show that ASIC chip number 3 was overheating. And so it wouldn't start mining because it's, I guess, protecting itself in some way. And so what I always do with this thing, it sits on the floor upstairs in my house. It's kind of like being used as a space heater as it mines. What I always do is I just make sure to clean the front pretty regularly, because it takes an airflow this way through the miner and sends it out the back. And there's no filters or anything. It's just a grill that's on the front here. And so it takes in a lot of dust or dog hair or anything. And so I probably should have cleaned it more often, but still, once I saw it kind of pile up, I would definitely take the approach to keep it clean. But since it has no filter, I've noticed that I think a lot has actually still made its way through the machine, and it's probably hard to see here on the camera, but inside of there, I believe, is all coated with dust, just from the months and months of mining. And there's no way for me to clean it except to open it up. And I've never done it before. I can see all the Phillips screws. I think it's gonna be pretty straightforward, but I'm kind of scared at what's gonna be on the inside. So let me get a screwdriver, set up the camera, and let's start tearing this thing apart, see if we can fix it. The way I'm looking at this, I think this door perhaps comes off, maybe almost like a PC. You can see here, just the way it's built, it overlays the rest of the frame. So hopefully I can just take those out and this side panel will come off. And you can see the fans right now, right, that are in the back of this machine. And they pull air, again, like through it this way and out the back. So let's just start taking some of those screws out to see exactly what the inside looks and how I can get access to this in the absolute fastest way, and it doesn't take me all day. So taking these out with the iFixit screwdriver kit. If you need one, link is down in the description. So we got 1, 2 here, and a third up here. Yeah, this thing definitely still looks pretty dusty. And I guess these 2 fans has probably got the integrated power supply up there. I'll take a look at that. Okay, so that's loose already. Let's see where there's some other screws. Got some on the top here. Another 2 it's looking like. So got both of those going. And then I think we probably should check the bottom to see if there's any screws down there holding this in. Yep, looks like we got another 2 down here. So let's get number 1 and number 2, and hopefully that's it. And this side panel is able to come free, and we can get a little bit more insight into what's going on inside this miner. Let's pull it up a little bit more. So here, let me switch the camera back to the main, and let's see if this panel comes off. Yep, ooh, slides right back. Yeah, just kind of like a PC, I guess. So that's not too bad. Put that down there. This is my first time taking a look at this thing. There it is. There's the insides. Let's switch back to the overhead cam and take a further look inside. Pretty simple. These are probably all fallen off stickers. That's funny. Pretty simple looking machine. It's got its fans mounted right here. This is likely just like the motherboard that has the ASIC chips, and these are the heat sinks for it that are absolutely caked as expected. It's probably hard to see. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it there. So that is all dust caked on the heatsink. I don't know if that's enough to cause this thing to give me an error on the ASIC chip or if there's an actual fault with it. But there's definitely some cleaning that I can do in this to get it running a little bit more optimally. Fans have some dust on them as well, but otherwise actually don't look too bad. So I'm just gonna get a vacuum and clear as much of this out as I can, and then perhaps take it outside and hit it with a blower too. Dyson vacuum is probably not safe to use on this because of static electricity, but this is what I got, so let's get started. There's actually a lot more on here than I thought. It's just coming off in layers. Okay, we are in much better shape. It was actually way worse than it looked when I was showing it on camera before. It was just absolutely caked in there. And so as I was vacuuming it out, I kind of figured out what was happening there. And there was no way for this to get airflow through the ASIC chips because of the way that the dust was just blocking all of that. So you can see the vent in the front here that takes in all of the air, and it has to go through these. These you can see, maybe not with the grill, but you can see through them, right? Because the air has to get within these fins, which is being pulled by these fans and then sent out the back of the miner. And there was absolutely no air getting through any of these because they were all completely clogged. So there's no airflow essentially going through the ASIC chips inside this Jasminer X16-Q. And I feel really bad about that. I'm sorry, ASIC chips. Please forgive me. So I hope you work now. Let's get this thing back together. We'll get it mining, figure out what I want to mine with it, and make sure it can start and temperatures are looking good. I think I fixed it. It's flashing green for normal. It's not flashing red for fault and giving me any problems and being angry with me anymore. So that's a really good sign. Let's take a look at the dashboard and see how we're doing here. So mining for 20 minutes exactly, and the temperatures at the low are 49 degrees Celsius and at the high are 56 degrees Celsius, which I think is picking up from the ASIC chips down here. And ASIC chip number 3 was the one giving me problems, and it's nice to see that it's running the absolute coolest temperature right now. And the fans are about almost to 100% speed, which they're very, very quiet on this miner. They're low RPM fans. They're doing the job, finally being able to send airflow through the heat sinks to keep everything cool. Performance looks really good, really healthy. And so now I was kind of wondering, like, what should I mine with this? What I'm doing right now is it's still on unmineable, which you can see right here for my ETC hash workers. The X16Q coming up, still given average hash rates as it sends its shares over to the pool. And by the way, just shameless plug as always, if you're going to use unmineable, not sponsored, but hashtag RedFox saves you on fees, me on fees. Let's keep going. But what I wanted to explore is what else might I want to mine with this Jasminer. And the performance that I get on this from the last, whoa, we're back. The performance that I get on this from the last time I tested it on ultra mode is 2,205 mega hash for 711 watts, though I think I'm doing a little bit better than that right now. Maybe with the firmware upgrade, we're actually at 680 watts measured on the meter. But I'm just gonna go with that data that I had as this continues to mine and average out. So I put that into what to mine to just take a look at what @hash-based coins are the most profitable. What I've typically done is just leave it on Ethereum Classic because it's pretty stable. It's on Coinbase. I can sell it whenever I want. But I just want to kind of explore what else is out there. So Hyper comes up as the insane profitability, which makes me feel like maybe that's not accurate. So I'm going to keep going. BitNet, never heard of it, no interest. Ethereum proof of work, I have no interest in that project at all. Then we get to more serious projects like Octa.Space. Octa.Space I've mined before. I'll take you through that in how I'm staking Octa.Space right now, generating more passive income. And so I'm considering this again, which is profiting almost $5 per day on the Jasminer X16Q, which is very, very good. So what I've done in the past is I've mined 200 Octa over on K1 Pool. And then what I'm able to do is on the pack project, stake that Octa. Once you have 200, you can buy a staking ticket, lock it up in their smart contract, and it will pay you per week about 2 Octa back. And you can take a look at that here on the Explorer. So this is the contract that I've entered, and when you can see every Tuesday it pays me almost 2 Octa, 1.94, 1.99, 1.64. And what Octa is currently worth over on TradingView is $1.35. So just times that by 2, I'm getting about $2.70 per week for doing absolutely nothing. And at the height, Octa has almost made it to $2, which then would almost be $4 a week for doing absolutely nothing. So then I was looking at how much Octa I can actually generate with the Jasminer X16-Q, which is per day 5. So let's just see how long then it would take me to get another 200 Octa in order to buy another ticket to enter another staking pool. So 200 divided by 5 means 40 days. In 40 days, a little over a month, I could have another 200, which would then double the amount that I'm getting paid per week to 4. And let's just say Octa is at that $1.37 right now, times $1.37, which means $5.48 of passive income that I'm generating per week in Octa.Space for doing absolutely nothing. I'm definitely considering that. I'm also considering dual mining again with Ethereum Classic and Zilliqa. I mine the ASIC.com. I put in the performance and power, and it's telling me that I will pull $8.33 in profit per day if I mine those together, and then I continue staking ZIL as well to gain more ZIL. Though this number in the past has been a little inflated, so I'm not quite sure how accurate it is. So those are some of the things that I'm considering doing with the Jasminer X16-Q. I've seen the Octa.Space. They actually have like a product. They have a VPN, and they're continuing to work. So I feel more confident around that. But also Ethereum Classic isn't going anywhere. Despite how I feel about the project, it's still a nice way to generate income, and especially for ease of cashing it out. Plus, Zilliqa on top of that lets me continue to stake and gain more interest there. So I'm not sure, but I'm leaning more towards Octa.Space. What do you think I should do? Let me know down in the comments section below. Thanks for hanging with me in this video as we cleaned out and fixed this Jasminer X16-Q. If you are interested in picking one of these up, referral link for Jingle Mining's down in the video description below. And that's it. Links for everything down in the description. Join my Discord, social media, etc. And as always, please take care of yourself and each other, and I'll see you in the next video.